welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah. This is Nova, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. Nova is currently trapped by pillows in the corner of the couch. I don't know how long this is going to last. She's a bit cranky because she had her 12-month shots yesterday, so she was in a bit of pain this morning when she woke up. But she's feeling okay right now, and in a minute I will put her down for a nap, and then we will jump into all of the goodness. But first, if you're looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram and Facebook. I'm the Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. Oh, and I do have an email address set up for this podcast specifically. It is the cozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Through the magic of video editing, I am back. It has been 20 minutes. Put the baby down. She has a fever. It's just like a low grade 99.5, but I know she's just so miserable. So I put her to bed a little bit early because she needs some sleep to recover from that. So the baby's sleeping. And we have so much to talk about. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that she stays asleep for at least an hour. Exactly an hour now at this point. So I have to get her up at 10 so that we can get into all the things. I have, so much Happy Mail to show you. I have projects that I've been working on. I have a giveaway to talk about in a minute. There's just a million things going on, and I'm excited to share them all with you. But first, I'm even really more excited to say that for the second time this year, and for the third year in a row, I have a podcast episode, this one, that is being sponsored by Ana Luisa Jewelry. I've talked about them before. You know I love them. I would never show anything to you that I don't love and personally use, and I use their pieces all the time. Their earrings I have been wearing since Nova was born. One of their silver rings, I don't have it on today, but it's one of my favorite rings of all time. This little safety pin necklace I have been wearing for like a month straight now. I love it so much, and I'm trying to teach Nova not to grab it. It's not going well, but I'm trying. And they sent me some new pieces to share with you for Christmas. Now, if you place an order, it's very likely not going to get to you by Christmas because this episode is the Saturday before Christmas. But if you like Christmas money or you're seeing someone after the holidays and you want to send them a gift, I really highly recommend this because I just, like I said, I wear their pieces all the time and I really enjoy them. I've given them as gifts. I gave a mama necklace. It's a gold chain that says mama to one of my friends this year for Christmas, and she was over the moon about it. So there's the new ones that they sent me are these two right here. So they're little gold snake earrings and then a little freshwater pearl earrings, little tiny mini pearls. I am not typically a gold person. I usually wear silver, but lately I've been experimenting with like mixing them. So mixing gold and silver because I think silver kind of works better with my skin tone, but if I mix gold and silver, I think that works. I can really only wear gold. I feel like when I'm tan in the summer. But I really, really like these. And they're small enough where Nova's not going to pull on them. I haven't been able to wear anything dangly because she will just grab it, and I would like my earlobe to stay intact. If you have kids, you know what I mean? So these are small enough that I can wear them and still feel festive, and they're not just like a little stud. And then also this, I thought this was so pretty. I think I'm actually going to save it for Nova or maybe give it to my niece for Christmas. It is a little, I don't know if it's focusing very well, a little crystal and gold butterfly on a beautiful chain. It's so pretty. I love it. It's the same kind of as this with the gold and crystal combined. I can't really get it. I don't know why it's not focusing. Freaking camera. But it's really just so sweet. And I may give it to my niece. Or I may save it for Nova. I don't know. My niece is 2, so it may be a little bit too, she may be a little too young for it. She's almost 3 though, honestly. Oh my God, she's almost 3. Where does the time go? So one of the things that I love about them is they care about the planet. So they use recycled gold and recycled metal for most of their jewelry. All of their gold is recycled gold. Their packaging is recyclable, compostable, all of that. And it comes in something really small. This is made from 100% recycled paper. And 3 years ago when they reached out and said they'd like to send me some pieces to review and sponsor an episode, what is this? This is bothering me. I was like, I would love that, but also, and I like grilled them for information. I was like, I don't really want to work with brands that don't have sustainability as one of their practices, and I need to know like women in the workplace. And they answered all of those questions for me so delightfully, and I just really love it. And they're having a big sale right now. I will leave a link directly down below that you can click on if you would like to go check out their pieces. I just think they're beautiful. And I'm really grateful to Ana Luisa for sponsoring another episode and for being with me as a sponsor for 3 years now, every Christmas or Thanksgiving. And I'm really happy, and I'm really, really excited to wear these little snake earrings. I think they're so fabulous. Now, I have a giveaway. I have some happy mail to show you at the end of this episode. If you've been watching my Vlogmas, then you've already seen most of this stuff. So I don't want to put it closer because you can skip that part if you've already seen Vlogmas. But if you aren't watching Vlogmas, then all of this will be new to you. And you may think like, oh my gosh, you get so much mail like all the time. You're just inundated with yarn. Not true. I have gotten more mail in the last couple of weeks, like since Thanksgiving, since the last 2 podcast episodes, than I have all year combined. I'm like overwhelmed by how generous and delightful people are. And I always want to give back. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and go through everything and like parcel out. I'm not going to be greedy and keep it all. I will put some for giveaways and send to people. So anyways, I have a giveaway. I have 2 giveaways actually. The way that it's going to work is I have to run it through Ravelry because it's the only way I can manage it. I can't manage giveaways in the YouTube comments. It gets way out of control. So I will leave a link to my Ravelry group below. If you'd like to enter the giveaway, go ahead and leave a comment there. If Ravelry is not accessible to you, and know that is the case for some people, please email me and I will put a placeholder entry in the Ravelry thread for you and then use a random number generator to draw. Open to anyone, anywhere in the world. No problem. I'll mail anywhere. So the email address you can email is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. So if Ravelry is not accessible to you, email me at thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. These are the giveaways. I have 2. I love doing giveaways when I'm hosting crochet alongs and make alongs, but I haven't had a chance to do any this year. Really, so maybe next year that will change and we can do more exciting things. But I just want to spread some Christmas cheer. This is definitely not going to get to you before mid-January probably, but I think when it will be a wonderful surprise. So giveaway number 1 is 2 skeins of yarn. Now this yarn was a gift. It is Sorella yarn. It's the same yarn as I have my advent calendar from. But this yarn is you can't ever get it again, probably. It's the Witch House. It's from her Halloween collection this year. I think it is amazing and beautiful and so tonal and like a little bit grungy, like it's perfect for Halloween. And you can even see her little Halloween label. I know that I probably will not use this yarn. And you may be thinking, why? It's so beautiful. Because it's not my color palette. I prefer things to be a little more saturated, a little brighter, a little deeper, so that I can, look at this color scheme. This is for me. Like this, I feel like I probably wouldn't wear if I made a shawl out of it. And whenever I know that something doesn't fit with my aesthetic or my color palette, even if it's beautiful, I want to give it back to you guys because I want it to be used. And I know there are so many of you that like, this is your aesthetic. If this is your aesthetic, please enter the giveaway. In fact, there'll be 2 threads, one for this and one for the other one, the other giveaway. That way, it will go to someone who will love it and actually use it because that's what I want. So it's 2 skeins, it's 100 grams each, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I'm also going to include this little tape measure pin, which I find adorable, and a project bag. This was a handmade project bag that was donated to the podcast. It's pink on the inside. It's a little drawstring bag with bunnies. It's so, so sweet. It is by ToscasGubbins. I'm going to do this so you can see. I will put her Instagram in her Etsy down below so that you can click on it. She makes bags and watercolors and all kinds of things. So she so sweetly donated this bag to the podcast a while ago. And so I want it to be used out in the world. And finally, the last thing that goes with this is a furls crochet hook. Now I bought this myself quite a while ago because everyone was raving about furls. This is their Odyssey. It's purple. It's like a weighted ergonomic crochet hook. It's too heavy for me. I personally don't like using it. It's very smooth. It glides like a dream, but I need a really, really, really lightweight crochet hook. I use the Clover Amours and will never use anything else. I wanted to try this to see if it would help my hand and my wrist pain, and I know for a lot of people it does, but for me, it's too heavy. So, because it is weighted. So this will also be included with that giveaway. The box is a little bit banged up. Sorry about that. It got sat on. So that's giveaway number 1. Giveaway number 2, Nova picked out. So I had all of the yarn spread out all over the place. And I was like, Nova, pick a skein to give away. Or pick 2 skeins. And she immediately went for this one. Which of course she did, because sparkles. This is gold sparkles. This is from the Long Island Livestock Company. This was lovely and donated by a viewer of this podcast named Amanda. This is Genuine Homestead Yarns. There's only 70 of these in existence, I believe. This is number 4 of 70. The contributor for this is Sebastian Jefferson. The color is champagne. It's 200 yards, and it is 75% alpaca, 25% US grown merino wool. So she picked this up and was like, here. And I was like, okay, that's the one I told you to pick and you picked. So that's that. And then she also grabbed one of these. These are 2 skeins of ice yarn. And I was like, you have a color palette, baby girl? Like, are you all about the neutrals right now? So this is sock yarn from Ice Yarns. It is 75 superwash wool, 25% nylon. If you're a sock knitter, this is going to make the most amazing pair of neutral socks, especially if you are knitting for a guy in your life or you just love neutrals. I think this would be fabulous. So these 3 go together, and they were picked out by Nova, and she nommed this one. And you see this little guy right here? That's because she bit it. She did not bite through the yarn, but she went. So this is Nova's prize package. And I'm also going to include this because I want it to go to a good home. This is a shawl that I made. It is a Tunisian crochet shawl. It is acrylic yarn. It's made in, it's an acrylic that Joann's used to carry like years and years ago. And this was my work shawl. I kept this at work for many, many years to wear whenever it was cold. And when I was learning Tunisian crochet, this is what I made. And I really love this shawl, but I work from home now. I'm just never going to use. So I would love it to be used. It's bright and green and blue and red. That green is not really showing up. Like, this is the same color as this, even though it doesn't really look like it on screen. So yeah, if you would like to have either those Nova's prize package with a shawl handmade by me, then go to Ravelry or email me and we can enter those. Now, I have some whips to share with you. I feel like I'm all over the place this episode. We have so much to talk about. Oh my gosh. Let's all take a breath, okay? And a water break. Question though, did anyone send this for Nova? This appeared on our doorstep from Amazon. I did not order it. None of my family members order it that I know of. And it's like a beanbag toss kind of a game with a sticky ball toss and all kinds of stuff. And it had my name on it, but no note and no clue where it came from. So if you sent this, please contact me so I can say thank you. Otherwise, it'll just be forever a mystery. I'm going to set it up maybe next week for Nova to play with. Shall we talk about whips right now? I have a kind of finished object. By kind of, I mean it's not blocked. The ends are woven in, but it's not blocked, so there's a bunch of tails hanging off. And it is the Omega blanket. It is a blanket pattern that I am working on called Omega after all of these little O's that are in the pattern. and the Omega character, who is a clone from Star Wars Clone Wars Bad Batch series on Disney+. She's a delightful character. I had to do the border still, so that is exactly what I have done. I finished all 3 rows of the border. This is Valley Yarns Haydenville. I believe Haydenville. Yes, Valley Yarns Haydenville. It's a 60% merino, 40% acrylic from Webb's yarn. And let me just show you. Like, here's all my little tails on the back. I've woven in all the ends, and I tend to trim them about 1 inch apart or away from the object when I weave them in, so that I know that they've already been woven in and I don't have to be confused. And then I block it and then I trim them off. I just find that that locks the ends into place better. So the pattern for this is written, but I have to block this and then take photos. And it's very unlikely that that's going to happen in the next week, but we'll see. I did manage to take photos of my Sunset Beach shawl. So as soon as I can get those edited, I'll have it out for testing. Why is everything take so long? Why does it take so long? Maybe because I just don't have any time in my life anymore. So the Omega blanket I've made some significant progress. The border is done. My goal for the next 2 weeks is to block it. At least block it and trim those ends off. So then it can be finished. I have another teeny project to show you. I made a muscle burra hat recently, and I wanted to make another one. I sent that one off to a friend who lives in a cold place because it was a gift. And I wanted to make another one, and I have started it, but this is how big it is. It's pretty much the smallest thing you've ever seen. I bet this is like 6 rows. It's so small. So the muscle burra hat is a pattern by Isolde Teague, and I don't have my iPad to show you the pattern, but basically you start with a tiny amount of stitches, you increase to the size of the hat, you knit a tube, and then you decrease and close it off, and then you fold it inside itself. So it's a double layered hat. It's a very fabulous pattern. You can make it in almost any gauge of yarn. And I made one. I really, really enjoyed making it because I love going around and around and around in stockinette stitch. And I sent it off to a friend who lives in a cold place, and she really liked it. And I wanted to make another one. I have one other friend who lives in a cold place who I think this will keep their ears warm. I hope. It's definitely not a Christmas present. It's just a present because I love you. But I'm taking forever. So the yarn that I am using for this is Rohrspatz Wool Mice Iron and Woolcraft. It is 80% merino, 20% nylon, I'm pretty sure. And this is the color. It's like basically my shirt. It's this beautiful deep maroon. And I had started this with I want to hold it double with mohair to like get that fuzzy halo and make it even warmer. And I started it and got about an inch and a half in with some mohair that was white and yellow and maroon variegated. And I thought that was going to go with this really, really well. I hated it. When I say I hated how it looked, I have not felt that level of aversion to how something looked when I was making it in a very long time. I complained to my husband about it. I was like, this is the worst thing I have ever seen, and no fault of the yarn. They just didn't belong together. And sometimes you can hold things up and be like, oh yeah, this looks. No, it did not go. So I frogged it. And by frogged it, I mean I cut it. I tried to frog it. I couldn't frog it because mohair. And then I threw it out because it was only this much knitting. Just imagine this with 1 more inch. A little itty bitty tiny square of knitting. So what I have done is I have gone back to the mohair that I used for the original muscle burra hat that I made, which is Ice Yarns. It is 30% mohair, 30% acrylic, 40% nylon. I don't know what the colorway is, but it's basically this beautiful brown. And so held double with that maroon, I think I instantly was so much happier. That is going to look really beautiful. It's going to look really tonal, really beautiful. And I think I really like it. I really want to work on this more. It's just I have to have some focus time because I'm currently on the increase stage and I have to increase quite a bit before I can go around and around in a circle. So as soon as I am done with the increases, actually my goal is to be done with the increases this next week or maybe the week after. So the week after Christmas, on that Monday, Josiah and I are driving to St. Augustine to meet up with his family who's coming down from South Carolina, because they've only seen Nova one time, and that was at Easter. She's a year old now, so I want them to spend some time with her, and we really want to spend some time with her. Just 8 hours in a car with her right now would be truly a nightmare. So I would like to have those increases done by that car trip so that I can work on it a little bit in the car. Will I be able to? I don't know, because I'll be sitting in the back with her trying to distract her from melting down about being in the car for 4 hours. She hates the car so much. So that's project number 2. Project number 3 is I've done a teeny bit of work on my socks. And by teeny, I mean like half an inch. But you know what? If I do one stitch on a project, it's going in this podcast. This is my Sauberball Crazy socks. I believe the colorway is like Lilac Dream or something. It's 75/25 wool nylon, and it's not a self-striping. It's one really, really long color changing ball. So the socks are not going to match, but I love this yarn. I have 2 pairs of socks made out of this, and they're really hard wearing, and I just love how the colors change. So I've done that much. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you hasn't been started yet, but I want to start it. So I'm showing you for accountability's sake. It will be another pair of socks. I went through my, let me start over. Why am I have a tickle right now? Too many yarn fumes getting into my lungs, I guess. I have gone and done a clear out of my closet. I haven't done that in ages. And I finally went and got rid of some stuff that has been in there. I have clothes in there from before Josiah and I got married. We've been married for 10 years. Those clothes are old. And not that old clothes can't be good, but I was in college, that's not really my style anymore. A lot of stuff didn't fit me anymore, especially after Nova. My body has changed shapes a little bit. So I got rid of some stuff that I have not worn in a very long time. I donated as much as I could. I chucked a few things that were old and holes and stains. And I chopped up a few old t-shirts to make rags out of. And one of the things I did is I pulled out a bunch of socks from my sock drawer. So in 2019, I made 19 pairs of socks. I was really just trying to figure out what is my vanilla sock recipe. What can I do? What do I like the most? And I made all of these socks, mostly shorty socks. And I'm running out of room in my sock drawer. But now I really, really know what kind of sock I like. And I made all of those before Nova, and now my feet have changed shape a little bit, so I need a little more room in the arch heel area, instep area. So I did a destash of some socks, I want to say 8 or maybe 8 or 10 pairs of socks on Instagram, and they're all gone except for one pair, which I'm going to give to my mom. So they're all gone already, and I'm using the proceeds from that to buy Nova a learning tower. I found a secondhand one on Facebook Marketplace, which I'm going to go pick up later today. A learning tower, if you don't know, you don't have kids, is basically it's like a step stool, but it's a fenced step stool so that they can't fall off of it backwards and crack their head. I would be perfectly fine with her using a regular step stool if she was walking in stable, but she's not, and she is desperate to see what I am doing when I'm cooking dinner, and I know she wants to help. So I'm going to get that for her so that she can participate, so that I don't have to hold her the entire time I cook a meal, because it's very difficult. Have you ever tried to chop vegetables while holding a baby? Danger. And I've tried strapping her on, but now that she's front facing, it's a constant game of my arms are not long enough to cook things and keep her feet away from the stove. So the learning tower needed to happen. And so I destashed some of my hand knit socks and made that possible. But now I have room in my sock drawer again to make some new socks that fit my new post-pregnancy feet. So that was a very, very long explanation to tell you that in my sock bag will be a new pair of socks. I haven't started that yet. I just put the yarn in here, and this is a sock blank. This came from Lisa, who is Key Alexandria. She has been a longtime viewer of this podcast. I mean, since the beginning almost, I feel. If not the beginning, then pretty much right away. She's such a kind person, and I'm not gonna give you her personal business, but she's had some delightful things and I'm very happy for her and her future. Lisa, I'm so glad you watch. I'm so glad we're friends. You're so kind. But she sent me a sock blank. I have never ever used a sock blank. I almost bought one like 2 years ago. And then I was like, no, I can't do it. It's too expensive. So I didn't do it. And I have regretted that. And I haven't really been purchasing yarn, because Nova and life and everything. She sent me a sock blank and I was so excited. This is this yarn company. I showed this on Vlogmas and I was like, what is that word? I want to pronounce it Yahogany, but apparently it's something like Yakagini, named after a place. The colorway is Coral Cove. It is 75% merino, 25% nylon. And I'm gonna see if I can unravel this and show you the actual sock blank. If you've never seen a sock blank, basically what it is you get 100 grams of yarn that is machine knit into a flat panel, and then it gets hand painted on. So this is like one of a kind. Like you can't duplicate this. It only exists in this form. And you have no idea what your sock is gonna work up like because this is like hand painted. This is like truly artwork. You're like painting on a flat knitted canvas. And so you just unravel and knit socks. I have always wanted to do that. So when I saw this, when she sent me a package, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a sock blank. And so I immediately put it in my sock bag. So this will be made into socks at some point. Soon, possibly. If I can get the cast on done before we go up, I would like to have some projects that I can work on when we're up in St. Augustine that don't require a lot of yarn or things like that. So I want to take that hat and I want to take a sock. I don't even think I'm going to take crochet because I don't want to risk losing anything because we're going to be with the baby all the time. It seems like I'm only going to have small, tiny amounts of time to work on it. So I need something really small and I don't have any small crochet projects on the go right now. My God. I'm like dying today. I'm not sick. Like truly, I'm just hoarse. No idea why. So the last project that I'm working on, it's living in a box. Let me do it this way so you don't see addresses. It's living in a box and I'm so excited about it. I have actually made some progress. This is the only project I have been working on for like a week. Anytime I've had crochet time in like a week. And my crochet time has been extremely limited because Nova has like truly been struggling, which I will talk about in a minute. But I want to share with you the goodness that is this. You saw this yarn last time because Shella, who is Unique with Fiber, I will leave links to her Instagram and her Etsy shop down below, provided yarn support for the DK version of my granny stripe cardigan. And it's the most amazing yarn. It's so plump and so squishy and so saturated and neon and amazing that I'm like blown away. And I have been working on the panels and I'm really excited to show you. They're growing. Oh my gosh, look how neon they are. I'm so excited. Okay, so the reason that they're still in the box is because it's easier for me to keep it organized this way. Here's my swatches, as opposed to if it was in a bag because of the way I'm doing the fade. This is an extra. This is Nova's skein of yarn that she sent. So I have completely used 3 balls of yarn. So this is color number 1. This is color number 2, and this is color number 3. So I completely used 3 balls of yarn and I just started on the 4th color. I'm gonna do it this way so you can see. So this is color 1, 2, 3. This is 4. And as you can see, it has some orange in it. This is 5. This is all pink with a little bit of purple. This is pink, purple, and orange. And then it's not gonna jump to here. It's actually gonna go into this. So she sent me some 75 gram skeins, kind of fading as well. So it'll go this one, this one, this one. And then I hopefully will be done with the body of the cardigan at that point. I think that's gonna be cutting it close actually based on my calculations. So it will probably go into this one for the body of the cardigan. And then I'm thinking I'll have this skein left over, this for the border. but we'll see. So what I have done is I'm making the panels exactly the same, and I'm making them at the same time, which makes it take forever before you see progress. But it also means that when I'm done with one panel and I start on the back rows, the whole cardigan's pretty much done. So this is where we are. You can see this is color number 1. I'm just doing a fade of 1 row. So I did 2, I can't remember how many rows I did at the beginning, but then I'm basically doing 1 row of color. Let me start over. Let's go. Rows of color A, 1 row color B, 1 row color A, 3 rows color B, 1 row color C, 1 row color B, 3 rows color C. Does that make sense? So I just started, this is the 4th. Actually, this one, this pink stripe, that is color number 4. And this is color number 3, this last row. And I managed to do that last night on both of them. So this is gonna be over here. That's kind of what it's looking like. So it's gonna go into pinks. I've got 3 more skeins pretty much to do before I get to the back neck area. I just am like, every stitch on this is so delightful. I just, look how beautifully they work together. I love that. I love how bright the yarn is. She was like, let me know if it's, you know, too neon. I'm like, first of all, in my world, there's no such thing as too neon. Like, this is amazing. I'm going to wear the heck out of this. I wish it was done right now because it's going to be cold, quote unquote, in January. This is probably not going to be done until the end of January, I would imagine. So I won't get as much wear out of it this year because I live in Florida. I'll still be able to wear it in February and March probably. But not like if it was done right now. I'm just very slow. If I had all the time in the world to crochet like I used to before Nova, before Nova, then this would already be done. That's how excited I am about it. Her yarn is so plump and squishy. Have you seen, what is that movie? It's not Minions. The one that came before Minions that started everything. I can't think of the name of it. Dang it, with Groot and the kids. Why can't I think of this? You know the movie, okay? Do you know the little girl who holds the fluffy unicorn and she's like, it's so fluffy. It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die. It's so squishy. It's so squishy, I'm gonna die. I think that Shella is amazing for being able to dye this yarn. And I think that she is so generous for providing yarn support, which she did not have to do. And I truly am enjoying every single part of this. It's a delight. I hope that I'll get to work on it tonight. We'll see, I don't know. Nova did go to sleep last night pretty well. But she's feeling pretty awful from these vaccines. So I don't know, we'll see. Okay, what time is it? I still have a while. Okay, good. Just a little bit about life before I get into the happy mail that's probably gonna like bowl you over like it bowled me over. Nova has been super struggling, like with sleep especially, since right before Thanksgiving. So almost a month now. The last couple nights she's done pretty well. And I know there's a sleep regression around 12 months. And she has gotten 3 teeth since Thanksgiving, which, oh my gosh, the poor thing. And she had a cold. I thought that it was a 4th tooth coming in, but then she was just so miserable. And then no tooth came out, but it was the same exact symptoms that she had the week before when she was cutting 2 teeth. So I assumed that it was teething. Like, babies are so hard to figure out. Like, because they can't tell you what's wrong. And like, would she even know what was wrong if she could talk? I don't know. Like, I have all the language skills in the world, and can I articulate what's wrong with me sometimes? No. But we took her to the doctor for her 12-month appointment yesterday. She's 29.5 inches long. She is 20 pounds. She is perfect in every way. Like, the doctor was so happy with her growth and her progress. She's meeting every single goal that they want her to meet. The only thing she's not doing is walking because she's just nervous. Like, she scoots around everything, and she's taken like a step here and there, but she's very like, when she'll stand for a few seconds, or even like up to 15 to 20 seconds, sometimes she'll stand. But as soon as she realizes that she's standing, she's like, oh no, and sits down. She's like very nervous about it. So she just has to build her confidence. But where was I going with that? She just has been struggling. So between teething and sleep regression and being sick and now these vaccines, like her sleep has been horrible. Like instead of sleeping at night, she cries. There's been nights, and if you've been watching Vlogmas, you know, where she has cried for an hour, like a solid hour, which it breaks my heart. And it's so hard, and like I want to fix it, and there's nothing I can do to fix it other than be there. So my crochet time has been extremely limited, and my emotional reserves have also been extremely limited because it's just tough. It's just a tough season. She did sleep last night and the night before, which is like why I'm so positive and happy today. It's amazing what one good night of sleep can do for you. But if you're going through this, like we were doing so good for a couple months and then everything went to pot. And maybe we'll get back on track after the holidays. I don't know. But until then, I just kind of am accepting that it's going to be hard, or at least I'm trying to accept that it's going to be hard and lower my expectations about getting anything of any kind done. I'm certainly not going to get anything done today because she has just been on me like, please hold me, because she feels so awful today. So that's how life is going in my household. I hope you don't have a teething, sick, sleep regression baby in your household who just got 3 shots in her leg yesterday. The poor baby. When just breaks my heart. I want to fix it and hold her and like make it all better. But all I can do is be there, and that's a life lesson in itself, isn't it? We can't fix other people's pain. All we can do is be there. And all that to say, I'm going to shift into some happy mail now, and pretty much like these all made me cry because it has been so tough over the last month. Like I have been running on fumes with very little sleep. Nova has been running on even smaller amounts of fumes because her sleep has been terrible. Like we've just been in survival mode, and these things kept showing up on my doorstep unexpectedly, completely unexpectedly, actually, for almost all of it. And one of them came at 7 a.m. in the morning after a really tough night. And it was like a mood changer. And I don't know. Y'all are too kind. Is there such a thing as too kind? Like you're too kind, you're too generous. And I'm gonna start crying already, and we haven't even gotten into the yarn. Is this what you come here for? Emotions. Because I have so many. Let me just give you my emotions. Okay, so I'll start with the 2 things that I knew were coming but wasn't expecting, if that makes sense. So the first thing is Lori of the Lori Lulu Crochet Podcast, and she's just a wonderful person. She said she was going to make me a Christmas ornament, which was one of my yarn wishes. And she didn't just make me a Christmas ornament. She made me a Baby Yoda. I'm calling it Baby Yoda. Okay, I know his name is Grogu, but I think that's a stupid name. Why did they name him that? Grogu. There's Yoda and Yanni. Why? Why is his name Grogu? Anyways, his name is Baby Yoda. He is in a place of honor on our Christmas tree. I took him off so that I could show him to you. I cannot believe this. I literally squealed when I took it out of the package. This is going to be one of my most treasured ornaments of all time. It will be passed down to my grandchildren. It will be passed down to Nova, who had better treasure it with her life. And then hopefully her children forever. This is, oh my gosh. Thank you, Lori. You're amazing. And this is amazing. I love it so much. The next thing that came in the mail is, this is from Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. This lovely person named Malia said she was going to send me some like sock yarn scraps that she had lying around, because I have an idea for a blanket I want to make out of sock yarn scraps and minis and things like that. I tried to swatch for it, failed miserably. So I think that's going to have to wait probably until I have a little more brain space, but I have a goal and I have a picture in my head of what it looks like. I just need to figure it out. So I wasn't expecting what she actually sent me. This is not sock yarn scraps me. This is a whole bag. There's minis in there, like leftovers from things. All of this yarn, all of this sock yarn. It's amazing. There's all these little pieces, which is exactly what I was looking for. Like this amount of yarn, because I want to be able to use little bits of leftover yarn. That's my whole goal with this design. And I was like, oh my gosh, Malia, this is amazing. This is not going in the blanket. I'm obsessed with this purple. The second I saw it, I was like, ooh, and this one. Actually, these three together would probably make 60 grams, which I could get a pair of socks out of. I really want this. This one mini got me. More than all of the rest of the yarn, even though the rest of the yarn is beautiful. And this one, look at that. But most of this will be in the blanket, which I'm really, really excited to get started on at some point. The problem with designing patterns, even if they're easy, is they're not easy when you're designing them. You have to get through the whole design process and the grading and the writing before you can just make the thing. And once you can make the thing, then you know it's like, oh, just easy breezy, just autopilot crochet, which is how most of my designs are. I'm not trying to like melt your brain out of your ears usually. So thank you so much, Malia. That yarn is actually going to stay, except for that one mini, is going to stay in that bag until I start this blanket project. And it's going with all of the beautiful little 10-gram minis that Rochelle sent me that I showed you in the last episode. All of that together will make a blanket. So excited. So excited. Okay. I have 3 boxes of yarn to show you. Yes, you heard me right. 3 boxes. The first one I'm showing you simply because it's the closest. It came from a viewer of this Padres. Oh God. I'm telling you, y'all, when you don't get enough sleep. I'm using that as an excuse because I did sleep last night. And also I've been stumbling over my words on this podcast for 4.5 years now. This is just my MO. A viewer of this podcast and a dear friend. And I told Nova her name is Auntie Amanda because her name is Amanda and she sent stuff for Nova. And if you watch my Vlogmas, you got to see Nova open her presents. So she sent some beautiful clothing for Nova, which Nova's already worn one of the pairs of pants. It's been a little too warm for her to wear the coats yet, but of course we're going to St. Augustine, it'll be colder, and I know in January she'll use them. But I had to pull this back out. It's a little damp actually because I put it on Nova because it was a chilly a couple days ago. And she promptly spilled something on it as a 1-year-old is wont to do, so I had to wash it so that it wouldn't stain. So I should have buttoned it so it would be easier to show. But she made Nova a cardigan. And look at these buttons. Nova is obsessed with these buttons because they're sparkly. I had this on her shelf in her room and she keeps yanking it off and then playing with the buttons. She's just like this. She just like touches all of them and pokes them and moves them around. And they're little hearts. So little hearts on the back. It smells so good. This is actually machine washable and dryable. I just wanted it to be so pristine. It will be machine washed and dried because Nova's gonna get it dirty. All her clothes get dirty. She plays in the dirt. She's very messy baby. But I wanted it to be as pristine as long as possible. So thank you. I told Nova when she was opening the clothes and looking at all of this, I was like, it came from Auntie Amanda. And I showed her picture on Instagram and Nova went like this, which I wish I had video of, but I was using my phone. It's so precious. It's so precious. I adore it. And she sent me a box of yarn. So let's just get into the yarn, shall we? And like I said before, at the beginning of this episode, if you think I get mail like this all the time, I do not. This is more mail than I've gotten this whole year. And I will not be keeping all of this yarn that everyone has sent me. I have to sit down and really go through it and like put some aside for giveaways. And do I want to be greedy and like keep every single scrap of yarn? I kind of do. I'm a bit of a hoarder. However, I want to share the wealth and the warmth, and I am only here because y'all are so generous. I've only made designs. Most of my crochet designs have came from yarn that y'all have sent. And I'm able to make things because y'all have sent and supported me in so many ways. And I must put that back out to you. So through giveaways, through all kinds of things, I want to spread the warmth. So that's just a disclaimer, I guess. Okay, let's jump in. There's 3 of these. This is Knitography Farm Yarns. This is Norwegian wool, 100% plantefarget. Someone had commented and said that this meant that it was natural dyed yarn. I'm very impressed by these colors. It's a gradient. I don't know what kind of yarn it is though. Plantefarget. Maybe it's plant dyed, natural dyed plant yarn? I don't know. It's beautiful though. Blue is my favorite color of all time. Blue, hot pink, gray. Those go together, right? There is a skein of lichen and lace. Let me tell you, this is why. This mini, can you see these two together? They must go together. Lichen and lace in the colorway lilac. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon. This is the sock yarn. I have heard of lichen and lace, but never touched their yarn in person. So this is really special. I'm really excited to see that. There's some beautiful little scraps of fabric. I really like this one especially. And if I can ever get back to my sewing machine, I'll make some stuff with them. This is my favorite. Out of the whole thing, I was like, ooh, this is Christmas yarn. I think this does have to be some kind of either cowl or socks. It's Honeybee Knits. The colorway of Very Merry Knitmas. And it's 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, which is, you can see the sparkle. I just think it's amazing. It looks like a festive gingerbread man. Then there is this one. This is Alex Creates. Alex Creates is an amazing yarn dyer. I don't know what kind of yarn he has personally, but what kind of yarn he has right now. I know the last time I checked in with him, he was doing like hand spun yarn and pottery and things like that, and like dyed bats of spinning fiber. So this is the colorway Skyline. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon. And he lives in New York. So that is the New York skyline, right? I think that's so on brand. There's this one, which is Blue Sky Fibers. It's an American wool. And this is the color Blue Sky. That's pretty on the nose. It is, I don't know what. It's just, oh, it's 50% alpaca, 30% merino, 20% silk. Ooh, that's amazing. Very soft. These I'm going to pull out together because I feel like they all go together, even though they're different brands. This is American Life from the Long Island Yarn Crawl. It is 67% alpaca, 30% merino, and 3% silk. So like, can you imagine these two in a project? Of course. And then this is just bulky color palette, right? This is Audine Wools by Knit Crate in the colorway Penumbra, which is 70% merino, 20% mohair, 10% silk. And then these ones I feel like go here. Yes, this is a vibe. This is a whole vibe. This is also Audine Wools, 80% alpaca, 20% tencel. Does anyone know what tencel is? Is it nylon or is it something else? Like, I feel like this is the thing, right? All of these skeins have to go into something together. Oh, yarn fuzz up the nose. Then there is Flock Fiber Studio. This is a single, merino single, and the colorway Puppy Love. Adorable. I love this one. I really love this one. I love the pinks and everything like that. This will probably be a very special giveaway in the future. It's gorgeous. It's too gorgeous not to be shared with the world. Then there's this one, which is Aya Fibers, hand-dyed in Germany. It is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. In the colorway Mon Chéri. So, so pretty. Tea, of course. Can't say yarn without tea, That would be a travesty. This one is an On the Round Everyday Light. This is also a single ply. You can see that it's a single ply. It is Sweetheart Duet. Oh, I think it goes with this one. Yes, Sweetheart Duet. So these two go together and they are superwash merino wool single ply. Duet because they go together, yes. And then there's this one, which is Purple Rain. Same company, same type of yarn. And then this is going in the blanket project as well. So the blanket with scraps that I'm thinking about trying to make, I have an idea. I'm gonna try to make it with mohair held double with fingering weight yarn. There is all of this ice yarn, mohair yarn. So it's like probably 30% mohair, 30% acrylic, I think. Yeah, 40% nylon. She has all of this. And there's more. There's like 4 bags. Oh, the ice yarn mohair. So I'm gonna have to think of more than just a blanket. And I will share some of that ice yarn mohair with y'all as well. Because I really have enjoyed it. I used it for the Musselburgh hat, and I'm currently using it for another Musselburgh hat to hold double. I really enjoyed working with it. And then the last thing that was in there, Nova got hold of this one, can you tell? It has clearly been nommed. There are 4 of these, and it's 100% baby llama. My gosh. Is this not the most amazing thing? These are, have I ever held baby llama yarn? I don't think so. If I have, maybe one skein. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. This is Llama Una yarn. This is like the most fabulous thing. I feel like this needs to be a striped project for sure. That's one box. So you didn't have to do that, Amanda. I know you didn't have to do that. You wanted to, that's why you sent it. And I am blown away. Ooh. So the next thing I will show you came from Lisa. She's the person who sent me the sock blank. And she sent me this with a note that said, keep some for yourself, use some for giveaways. This is stuff that has been in my stash that's not getting the love it deserves. And so I definitely will be sharing the warmth, as I said. Of course, I'm gonna make socks out of that sock blank because I literally got so excited. So what was in the box she sent me? It was wrapped in the most beautiful wrapping paper. It was like a Christmas present. And it came after one of Nova's particularly really rough days. Like she cried for over an hour that night before sleep. And I was like frazzled beyond all belief. And when I came out, Josiah had got this box from outside and put it on the couch. And I was like, wow, it improved my whole day. There's a bag in there. It says, let's get crackin'. It has a knitting and crocheting octopus, crochet hook, yarn, knitting needles. Josiah, this is his favorite. He loved this one so much. So I don't think that I can gift this bag because every time I use it, he's gonna be very excited. He's gonna be like, ooh, you're using the bag. So this one has to stay with me for at least a while because the husband approves very much of that bag. There was also a lovely Betsy Makes bag, and Betsy Makes is a podcaster and Etsy shop person in the UK, and I am almost positive that she hand dyed this. I haven't watched her podcast in quite some time because I haven't watched anybody's podcast in a while because Nova has taken over everything, but I feel like I remember her dyeing stuff like this. So it's gorgeous. It's white on the inside with little polka dots. And that's hand-dyed linen, I think. Or maybe it's wool, I'm not sure. It's probably wool, it doesn't feel like linen. It's too soft. It's gorgeous, just gorgeous. There was a little bag of Holst yarn. Holst yarn is the yarn I'm using to make my obsidian cardigan that I haven't touched in a while. Holst yarn Super Soft is a misnomer. It's not super soft. It's just softer than yarn that might never touch you. It's 100% non-superwash wool. Comes in all of these shades. and it's very affordable. It's a light fingering weight yarn. And then there's 3 of these purple ones, and then this. So I think that this has to be some kind of color work project for sure. I would like to do some color work, and if I can't, then I will send this to someone who is a color work person so that it can be used for its intended purpose. And then there was a bag, another bag. It has strawberry lining, and it's like a, I don't know what kind of fabric this is, but like woven fabric on the outside. I would say this is a 4 to 6 skein project bag. And inside was a skein of La Jolla yarns. This is the colorway Dancing Queen. Funny story about La Jolla yarns. This brand is the first hand-dyed yarn or like fancy yarn I ever bought. Ever. So this has a special spot in my heart. And then inside, a bunch of leftover yarns. Like, all of which have been used in projects, which makes me even more happy, right? Because these are like pre-loved yarns, and they're leftovers from things that are amazing. And there's all these little balls of yarn inside. I don't know if I can show them to you very well without dumping them everywhere. Ooh, yarn fuzz. Like so. All these little tiny balls of yarn. They're so beautiful. So beautiful. I especially like, let me dig this out. This one. That one's very cool. And there's like little itty bits of yarn like this. So yeah, if I can get my act together and get the blanket going, those will be going into that as well. Thank you, Lisa. So kind of you. And finally, yes, finally, there's still more. I'm trying to keep it together and not get all emotional right now because we'll just never finish, and I've got to finish because I've got to get the baby up in 10 minutes. A box showed up on my doorstep from, it just says Yarn Fairy. It doesn't say who, it doesn't have a name. It says it's from Hawaii. Who do I know that lives in Hawaii? There's no note inside. It just says Yarn Fairy. And what? There's all kinds of yarn inside, which I will show you. There is Twisted Lemon Sock Ball. This is a self-striping pink and red superwash wool nylon yarn. There's this, which is Cannon Hand Dyes. This is a self-striping yarn as well, I believe. Yes, self-striping in the colorway Catherine. I don't know who Catherine is. It's 80-10-10, so 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. Gorgeous. This one will probably go in a giveaway as well. I just think this black and purple. Maybe I should save it for Halloween next time. Halloween next year. It'll be like such a spooky giveaway. This actually is a Halloween yarn. It is a self-striping stock yarn by Bad Amy Knits. It is the Halloween 2011 color, which is 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon. So like, yarn has no expiration date, right? So this yarn is 10 years old. It's brand new. It's good as new. I'm so happy to give it a home. There was a beautiful, oh my gosh, so pretty. This is called Tainted Love. It's from Rainy Days and Woolly Dogs. And it is 100% superwash BFL, Blue Face Leicester yarn. There are 2 of these, which these 2 have to stay with me because of their name and because the color is amazing. It is Numa Numa yarns. If you're watching my Vlogmas, you know why that's hilarious to me. Numa Numa. It's 100% superwash merino, and the color is raspberry jam, and there's 2 of them, and they're fabulous. And also their name's Numa Numa. So great. And then there was one more Ziploc of all of this, which is, this is the Socks That Rock, 100% merino, colorway Pepe Le Plume. Pepe Le Plume. I cannot speak today. And then there is Numa Numa. This is the colorway What Do You Have? So gorgeous and saturated. This is a Christmas yarn if I've ever seen one. It's truly amazing. Is this? Yeah, this is also superwash merino. Then there's this one, which is ricing yarn, merino bamboo and nylon. It is a sock yarn. I think those two are probably gonna go together. And then finally, Knitterly Things Vespers sock yarn, merino. Colorway Neapolitan. Is that not the most Neapolitan yarn you've ever seen? I think it is. It is to me, certainly. So, I don't know, like, I called the last episode a parade of happiness, and there's another parade happening today, right now, which is like, what? How is this my life? So like I said, I have to sit down and go through all of it and really like sort it out into type and weight and put aside some for giveaways in the giveaway box and make sure that I'm sharing everything I can with y'all and set aside some for designs. It has been, this year in many ways has been much tougher for me than last year. Even though this year the pandemic has let up a little bit and last year we hardly did anything. And this month has been particularly hard with everything that has been going on with Nova and work and just life in general. And y'all are so supportive. Who are you, Yarn Fairy? Thank you. Thank you, Amanda and Lori and Lisa and Malia. And thank you every single person who watches. And I just am full of gratitude always for y'all. But it truly has never felt so much like Christmas to me ever. Like I'm just blown away and overwhelmed and oh no, I can't start crying. I have to wake the baby up. She's gonna be like, what's wrong, mommy? Nothing's wrong. I'm just having emotions because life is so beautiful. Something crazy is happening outside. Do you hear this rumbling? I don't know what that is. What is it? Oh, it's a street sweeper. There's a street sweeper sweeping our street. Oh, escaped rogue ball of yarn. Okay, I truly have to go because I have to make the baby's bottle and we have to go get her learning tower when she wakes up. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Email me if Ravelry is not accessible to you. Otherwise, go to Ravelry and I will draw winners either the next time I podcast. And don't forget to check out Ana Luisa, who has the most fabulous jewelry. And I really so appreciate them supporting me for 3 years now. And I hope that you will support them because they make wonderful jewelry and I love it very much. And I will see y'all next time in 2 weeks, or I will see you around on Vlogmas. It's up to you how much content from me you want to see this month because I'm putting out lots. And until I see you, Merry Christmas if you celebrate. If you don't celebrate, Happy Holidays or Happy December or Happy New Year. And I will see you so soon. And until I see you, virtual internet hug to you. We'll talk soon. Bye, friends.